one of us have got to ask ourselves and answer. Question number one, and I'm talking to you, is do you really believe in God? I mean, do you really believe in it? Be honest. I don't want you to raise your hand and stand up and recite anything. I want you to answer this within the confines of your spirit. Do you really believe in God? Do you have a real faith in God? The next question I want to ask you is, what do you believe about God? Is he just somebody who you're not really that interested in, but you know it's right to serve him? Is he only a healer to you, only a way maker? Is that all that he is to him? What do you really think about God? Honestly. Because I'm finding out now there are people who serve God and still will use the phrase, oh, God wouldn't do that. What do you really know about God? Question number three, how has knowing God altered the course of your life? Has there really been a change? I'm not just talking about the change in the way you look. I mean, have you been changed in the way you think? Did he change your affections? Since you've been saved, how has knowing him altered your life? Does it cause you to push beyond your own human limitations and your own human desires to fulfill the will that you know he has for your life? How has knowing God altered the course of your life? Do you choose a job first and then think about God? Or do you ask God before you do this and that and this and that? Is he just an afterthought, or has he become the real Lord of your life? Is he the first thing, honestly, ask yourself, is he the first thing that you think about in the morning? Is he the last person you think about before you go to bed at night? How do you feel if you go 24 hours without talking to him? Do you long to be in his presence? How has knowing God altered the course of your life? We've got to get back to asking ourselves these type of questions. Because people are so twisted now that what they are calling salvation and Christianity is not even measuring up to what the Bible is saying. And we have accepted this train of thought and has assimilated and adopted it as a part of the doctrine of this last day church. And God has the record. Daniel chapter number 3, verse number 3. When you have it, say amen. The Bible gives us this intelligence. Then the princes, the governors and captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces were gathered together unto the dedication of the image that Nebuchadnezzar, the king, had set up. And they stood before the image that Nebuchadnezzar had set up. Then a herald cried aloud, to you it is commanded, O people, nations, and languages, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, the flute, the harp, the sackbut, psaltery, dulcimer, and all kinds of music, And whoso falleth not down and worshipeth shall the same hour be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. Therefore at that time, when all the people heard the sound of the cornet, the flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and all kinds of music, all the people, the nations, and the languages fell down and worshiped the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. Wherefore at that time certain Chaldeans, haters, tattletales, came near and accused the Jews. They spake and said to the king Nebuchadnezzar, O king, live forever. Thou, O king, hast made a decree that every man that shall hear the sound of the cornet, the flute, the harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music shall fall down and worship the golden image. And whoso falleth not down and worshipeth, that he should be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. There are certain Jews whom thou hast set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, have not regarded thee. They serve not thy God, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. Did anything strike you that he says this image, golden image made by the hands of man, when you hear the sound of the cornet, the flute, the sackbut, the dulcimer, the psaltery, and the harp, when you hear all of these things, when this music begins to play, he says everyone from every nation, every language, everyone in the province shall at one time bow down to the image. Now, the Bible said that when they heard the sound of the music, that everybody, those that were from different nations and languages, began to take their knee. They began to bow in obeisance to the golden image which had been set up. Now, the problem is that God said, I'm a jealous God. And God said, thou shalt not bow down thyself to any graven image. So out of all of the nations that were there, all of the people that were there, the Bible said that only 3 men out of this great august body, only 3 men obeyed the voice of God. Only 3 men out of all of these nations and languages that were represented in one place out of the multitude, only 3 men were willing to stand while everybody else gave in. And that's what I want to preach to you tonight. Listen, these are days when we've got to be courageous. These are not days for the church to be afraid. These are not even days for the church to be quiet. Amen. But God is looking for somebody who is standing out. Look at somebody and just tell them, neighbor, that's me. Tell them I'm standing out. And that's what I want to preach to you tonight. I want to preach to you that it's time now for us to get back to standing out. Just look at about 3 people around you and just ask them, neighbor, are you scared? Are you scared? Y'all ain't standing. Look at them and just ask them, are you scared to stand out? Amen. Because God now needs somebody in this hour that does not give a care whether they like us or not, but people who are at one time willing to obey God rather than man. God, I wish, and see, when I said that, I thought I would have had, amen, an army of believers who wasn't afraid to stand out. Amen. Listen, don't leave me